Hello everyone and welcome to another NeuroGraphic Art Follow Along video. Today we will be doing something a little bit different. We will not be using a black marker to draw NeuroGraphica. We will be using colorful markers. So for the ones who know, I'm going to show you some of my work. Most of NeuroGraphica, as you can see, is done with a black marker, but sometimes you can do something like this without using a black marker. This is an example of not using the black marker. So today we will be doing something along these lines without using a black marker. The algorithm that we're going to do today is called releasing limitations. So basically, we start by choosing a theme. It is one word, only one, and the word has to do with a problem in your life. It could be like a health, work, family issue. Whatever the issue is, you write it down, and then in 2 minutes, you put on timer 2 minutes, and you write all the negative words associated with this theme. Like everything that comes to your mind, you just put it all out there on the other piece of paper. I have it right here. I use the other side, see, making notes. What is very important to do in NeuroGraphica is always to make notes of how you're feeling, how your body's feeling, what comes to your mind. And pick a color. Let's start. I'm going to pick this one. And we're going to start by drawing kind of a frame. Because this is releasing limitation algorithm, it means that we are limiting ourselves within some sort of a constraint. So we're going to draw that constraint on our piece of paper. This is the first step of the drawing algorithm. And I'm going to draw it like this. This is my frame. Also notice that when you draw in NeuroGraphica, don't draw like straight lines, because all the lines in NeuroGraphica, they should be representing nature, and everything in nature is flowing. Everything has a flow. Nothing is straight. And now inside this frame, we do an explosion. For the ones of you who know what explosion is, you just go ahead and collect all of your negative thoughts, take a deep breath in, and you release everything on the piece of paper, just like release. So with me, I'm taking a deep breath in, I'm thinking about my problem, my theme. With a sound. Usually it comes with a lot of sound because this is releasing everything that is inside of you. Okay, so go ahead and do this release. And after you release, notice how you're feeling, what is happening in your body. Usually I feel a lot of relaxation after I do this. So the next step is to create lines that run through the entire piece of paper using your explosion. So for example, I see that this line, I would like to continue it. I can start with just from the edge of my piece of paper and I'm continuing. So the whole idea is to dilute this explosion in the field. So I'm finding all of the lines that are kind of sticking out and I'm giving them a continuation. It's this one. And I want to breathe. My body wants to breathe. There's a lot of tension that I feel in my body, and this is very, very interesting how I'm feeling. So take a note of everything. How are you feeling? What is happening? How is your breath changing? Okay, and right away we're starting to round all the corners. So all the corners that we see, this is a very important step in Neurographica, is to round everything. All the intersections have to be rounded, because right now we're making new neuron connections. Right now, right this moment, the thicker marker you have, the better it is, the easier it is, and faster it is. Notice how you're feeling. You can get some irritation when you're doing this, because this is a lot of work and your brain is doing something different. Notice how your body is relaxing. There's a lot of relaxation happening now. Notice how quiet I am, because I am super focused on this. Sometimes I get really irritated when I do this. Sometimes I get very relaxed. Right now I'm feeling super relaxed. I'm so immersed in this process of rounding and adding the lines. And it's very interesting how after rounding all the corners, later on you will find other corners that you missed the first time when you rounded this. This always happens to me. I miss something and then I come back to it. Notice how some lines are thicker, some lines are thinner. And then after I rounded everything inside the frame, I'm going outside the frame. How I found all of these corners that I missed. Also notice that in my follow along videos, I'm doing this very quickly, because this is like a very quick explanation of Neurographica. And if you want to do this practice in depth, you really need to spend hours and hours on it. It's a very soothing and meditative art therapy. And you really need to take your time, because you're literally redrawing your neurons in your brain as you're doing this. So sometimes you really need to take the time to do this. Okay, do you think I rounded all the corners, or do I have some sharpness? I think I did everything, but I also could have missed something. Now I'm thinking, do I need to add more lines? Thinking maybe to add more lines. So sometimes when you look at your drawing, you're saying that something is missing. Something you need to add more. More lines. I'm getting carried away, finding my corners. I really need to round. Also remember that you cannot take a break until you round everything on your piece of paper. This is very important. I feel like I need to add more thickness to my brain. Oh, to my brain. Maybe I do need to add some thickness to my brain, to my drawing. It's really hard to talk at the same time. And I feel like I want to add a line right here. And again, I am rounding it right away. All the intersecting sharp corners. I want to add a little bit more thickness right here. So to add different thicknesses to your work, it's very important to add like fields that are thick and then some thinness, leaving it, I feel like, in the center. It has to be thicker. Okay. Okay, it almost looks a little bit alien. I love it. So this is like literally a mirror of my neural connections right here on my piece of paper. Okay. So the next step is to add a little bit of coloring, and I can do it with another color, and I'm shading large surfaces. Remember to do 2 side by side and then add more, because right now what is happening is that everything what we're looking at in our brain is like it's in parts. So when we add color, we combine the parts. We're unifying everything. And you're doing the coloring very intuitively. Any color that you feel like, and I want to add some color here. Okay. Here. And I'm going to add this color, which is a little bit lighter. It's just a different shade. In shading, I can do it really loosely in some parts. Like it doesn't have to be perfect shading. It could be like literally something like this, very light, and kind of stretching my shading. I want to add it here as well, especially sometimes your markers could be dying, like mine. I'm drawing so much. I'm drawing every single day, working on my neural connections every single day, and my markers are wearing out. Okay, what are the other color that I can use? I'm going to use this light turquoise. Actually, it doesn't look like white, but it's okay. Like this one too. Notice how you're breathing as you're doing this. I almost forgot to breathe. Okay. I feel like this one, but I kind of want to stretch this color out. That. And then here. Very intuitively, I am not thinking of any rules of composition now. I'm not thinking how can I make my drawing beautiful. I'm just drawing as I'm feeling. Also, remember not to ever use golden or metallized markers. This is just a no rule in Neurographica. I want to add, you know what, there's also a stylization step, so I'm going to do that at the last step of our drawing. Right now I need to draw a line, universal line of field, and I'm going to use this blue to draw it. Okay, so the universal line is one line that runs through the page. I would like to run it right here. Like that, very thick. It needs to stand out. This is something that is giving energy to all of your work. Okay, and all the corners, again, rounding all the sharpness that was created. Also, it can go like that. Add a little bit of stylizing. Different thicknesses and thinness. This is giving extra dimension to our work. Oh, for some reason, I'm breathing and holding my breath a lot during the session, this drawing session. I'm surprised because usually I am breathing deeply, but now I'm resisting. Very important to breathe. Okay, and now we need to add a fixating shape. So it's usually, not usually, it's pretty much always a round shape that is fixating this entire composition. So you need to look at your drawing and see, where do you see something round? Where do you see something roundish? I see it right here. I see the circle right here, but I want to do a fixating round, like around, kind of like larger, like that. So I'm going to do it right here. And this has to be a very thick circle, the one that really stands out. like that. And right away, I am rounding all the corners. Okay. And rounding everything. And now I'm breathing. Finally, I'm starting to breathe as I am rounding the corners of my fixating shape. I am adding lines, I'm stylizing, so not only I am rounding corners, I'm also doing stylization, but I am making my work, in a way I don't like to use this word, but pretty or aesthetically pleasing for me. So when I'm stylizing, I need to look at it and be like, okay, what can I do to make it look really, really beautiful for me? Not for you, but just for me, because this is my work. This is me working with my subconscious mind, and I need to be very satisfied with what I'm drawing, what I'm creating. So all the rounded corners. And lines. Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. Sure, I will find something that I miss. I always do whenever I turn on the video, then I find corners and edges. And it's absolutely fine to miss something, but just make sure before you go on and carry on with your day to spend like an extra 5 minutes rounding everything, checking everything, making sure that everything is rounded. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to round that as well. Okay, and also at the end of this, remember to write words in 2 minutes. So there are going to be different words, way different words than you wrote the first time before you started drawing. And like that, you can really analyze what changed in your subconscious, because the words that you're going to write down are going to be different than the words that you've written at the beginning when you were thinking about your theme and the problems associated with it. Okay, so I am going to end here, even though I'm so into this process and I want to add more lines and shapes, but enough is enough. And I hope that you really, really enjoyed this practice. Stay tuned for my other NeuroGraphica video. Okay, see you next time. Bye.